How would you describe inferential reasoning? Do we want to take a stab at going first on that?
I guess I'll take a shot at it. One of the things I think about when I think about inferential reasoning is the process of inference to begin with, and really understanding kind of what's going into that. So the idea that you understand that the statistic you get from a sample is going to vary from the population values, and that you have to understand that variability if you want to make a generalization from something in a sample to something in a population, or from an experiment to the population in general.
Okay. All right. Anything you'd like to add to that?
I think Roger said it well. I know for myself in working with teachers and with students, I think their natural inclination is when working with data, they just want to come up with one number that they use to describe the population. And for me, just helping students to realize that maybe either informally or formally, they need to take into account variability and move from descriptive statistics, descriptive models, to more inferential thinking.
I have teachers ask me a lot what inference is, and usually they're mathematics teachers who haven't thought about statistics.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the big new idea for them is that we take samples of data and try to say something about a wider population or all the data that we probably can't collect. But we never know for sure if that's the right statement. There's always some level of uncertainty, and that's new for them. That's a kind of a challenge for students and teachers. So.
Yeah. So thinking some about the statements that you all said, I hear that it involves data. So we're reasoning from data, but we're trying to generalize beyond that data, trying to make a statement beyond that data, and that there's uncertainty involved, and that the claims that we make, we recognize that there's a level of uncertainty in the claims that we're making. Good. So why is it important for our students to kind of engage in inference? Why should this be part of any curriculum that we do?
That's what our world's about now. I mean,
Yeah.
our world is about being surrounded by data and trying to use data to make informed decisions. And it's just really critical that it becomes just sort of second nature to them, that when they're working with data and they think about this uncertainty, this variability component, which you can't just use descriptive statistics. You've got to be able to bring in that component when you're making generalizations.
Mm-hmm.
And there's lots of generalizations going on in our world right now.
Yeah, I'd like to build off what you were saying, that a lot of times students, their idea of the world, the perception of the world, are their own experiences, right? And so we develop as humans heuristics that don't help us necessarily make good judgments and decisions. And so we have a lot of data, but as everyday citizens, we may or may not use that data. We use our own experiences to kind of generate, unfortunately, biases. And so students need early on experiences with data that they can reason from to kind of challenge some of those heuristics before they really get set in and biases get set in. So it's critical that it starts early, 6th grade. Students should be looking at data that is relevant to them so that they can start thinking differently in different ways. Because if you see your neighbor get in a car accident, now you have one case and they're going to extrapolate. It's just one case, right? But that's kind of their world. So that's why I think it's important.
Yeah, so I like how you were talking about early on. So what about the college level?
Yeah, that's one of the things at the university level. Even though students have seen data at, in the K-12 environment, and have been doing this since they were in 5th or 6th grade.
Hopefully.
They still don't fully grasp the idea of the variability of those summaries that they're looking at. They're getting these sample statistics, and they don't really, internalize the idea that yes, this is a value that could be very different if you were to take a different sample or conduct the experiment again.
Right. So experiences with repeated sampling might give them a better understanding about this presence of variability.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I think is really important about teaching that, is to let them see that repeated sampling and the variability that comes from that.